I'm Akshata from MCOM Final, MPM Government First Grade College, Karkala. My presentation topic is Input and Output Tax. When a person purchases goods from a dealer, he pays certain amount of tax. The tax charged to him by the dealer is known as input tax. After the receipt of goods, he further sells it. At that time, he collects the taxes on sale of such goods. The taxes collected by him is known as output tax. Now let us know about the meaning of input tax. Input tax means the GST taxes charged on any supply of goods or services or both made to a registered person in the course or furtherance of his business and includes such tax payable on reverse charge basis but excludes tax paid under composition levy. Input tax means GST taxes. GST taxes in the sense CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST taxes charged on any supply of goods or services or both made to a registered person. The person must be registered under GST Act. In the course or furtherance of his business and includes such tax payable on reverse charge basis but excludes tax paid under composition levy. Input tax include tax payable on reverse charge. Reverse charge in the sense if a vendor who is not registered under GST supplies goods to a person who is registered under GST, then the GST will have to be paid directly by the recipient to the government instead of the supplier. So such reverse charge basis tax payable payers are included in input tax but tax paid under composition levy. Composition levy means it is a method of levy of tax designed for small taxpayers. Such small taxpayers are excluded in input tax. In simple, input tax is the tax on purchases. Input tax credit. Input tax credit means at the time of paying tax on sales, firm can reduce the tax they have already paid on purchases. It means reducing the taxes paid on inputs from taxes to be paid on output. When a person buys a product from a registered dealer, he pays tax. On selling, he collects the tax. He adjusts the taxes paid at the time of purchase with the amount of taxes on sales, and balance liability of taxes has to be paid to the government. In this way, he can utilize the ITC. Now, let us know about input tax credit with the help of an example. Let us assume Mr. A is a manufacturer. The tax payable by him on output is 450. Tax paid on input or purchase is rupees 300. He can claim ITC of rupees 300. He only need to deposit or pay rupees 150 in taxes to the government. This is a benefit for the person who is paying ITC. Let us know about the condition to avail input tax credit. The following are the condition to avail input tax credit. First one, furtherance of business. Tax on those supply which is used in furtherance of business is available for ITC. Here, the furtherance of business doesn't mean only purchases. Furtherance of business means any supply which is used or in the course of business. In simple, furtherance of business means revenue generating ordinary activity of an organization. For example, if garment manufacturing company sells the scrap, it means and it comes under furtherance of business because the money generated from sale of scrap is utilized to support the business. Second, possession of tax invoices. Documentary evidence of tax paid, that is, tax invoices, credit note, is mandatory to be in possession of assessee who is availing input tax. If a registered person is making supplies, he issues tax invoices to the receiver of goods. Such tax invoices must be possessed by the receiver of the goods to claim ITC. Third one, GSTIN to be mentioned. Documentary evidence must contain GSTIN of both supplier and recipient. Every taxpayer will be assigned a state-wise PAN-based goods and service taxpayer identification number, which will be a 15-digit code. For availing ITC, the GSTIN of both supplier and recipient is needed. Fourth one, delivery is mandatory. Mere passing the entries in the books of account doesn't avail input tax. Goods must be actually received or services must be actually availed. The recipient of goods must have the physical possession of goods. For example, Mr. A sold goods to Mr. B. The goods are lying in the godown of Mr. A, and Mr. B has not taken physical delivery of goods. In this case, Mr. B will not be able to take ITC because the goods are not delivered to B. The next one, payment to supplier. Assessee who is availing input tax is necessarily made payment of supply along with tax amount within 180 days from the date of issue of tax invoices. If assessee has not made payment of supply within 180 days, then the amount of tax which was taken as input tax credit was added to output tax liability of assessee. If the receiver of goods unable to make the payment within 180 days from the date of issue of tax invoice, he cannot avail ITC. Now let us see about how to claim input tax credit. The following conditions have to be met to be entitled to input tax credit under the GST scheme. First one must be a registered taxable person. One must be registered under GST. If he is not registered, then he cannot claim ITC. Second one can claim input tax credit only if the goods and services received is used for business purpose. If the goods and services purchased is used for personal purposes, then he cannot claim ITC. If the goods is used partly for business and partly for personal purposes, then he can claim ITC only for that part of goods or services which is used for business purposes. Third one, input tax credit can be claimed on export, zero rated supplies and are taxable. Input tax credit can be claimed only on these supplies that are export, zero rated and taxable supplies, but input tax credit cannot be claimed on non-taxable, exempt and nil rated supplies. Fourth one, for a registered taxable person, if the constitution changes due to merger, sale or transfer of business, then the input tax credit is unused shall be transferred to the merged, sold or transferred business. In this, he can claim ITC from his merged, sold or transferred business. Fifth one can credit the input tax credit in his electronic credit ledger in a provisional manner on the common portal as prescribed in model GST law. Electronic credit ledger reflects the amount of input tax credit available to the taxpayer. Taxpayer can credit his input tax credit in such electronic credit ledger. Sixth one, supporting document, debit note, tax invoice, supplementary invoice are needed to claim the input tax credit. These all are the document given by supplier of the goods to the recipient of the goods. One must possess this document to claim ITC. Seventh one, if there is an actual receipt of goods and services, an input tax credit can be claimed. As I told earlier, physical possession of goods by the receiver of goods must be there to avail ITC. Eighth one, the input tax should be paid to electronic credit or cash ledger. So the input tax credit must be paid on electronic credit or cash ledger to the government. Ninth one, all GST returns such as GST 1, 2, 3, 6 and 7 needs to be filed. GST returns is a format where a taxpayer registered under GST law has to file for each registration separately. So, a taxpayer must register under GST return separately to avail ITC. Now, let us know how input tax credit work under GST. Suppose Mr. A is a seller, he sells goods to Mr. B. The buyer, Mr. B, is now eligible to claim the purchase credit using his purchase invoice. This is how it works. Mr. A sells goods to Mr. B, files GSTR 1, details of supply. Information from GSTR 1 gets reflected in GSTR 2A of Mr. B. Mr. B files GSTR 2. Data goes from GSTR 2A to GSTR 2 after buyer, that is Mr. B, accepts it. Amount of tax paid on purchases gets credited to electronic credit register. After that, Mr. B can start using credit against output tax liability or get refund. Next, input tax credit is not available on following supply section under 17(5). It is also known as blocked credit. The various block credits are: first one, motor vehicles and other conveyances. Motor vehicles and other conveyances are not comes under input tax credit, but there are some exceptions. They are: first one, supply of other vehicles or conveyances. For example, Audi car dealers purchases car from a company and then they sold that car to another dealer. Then Audi car dealer is eligible for ITC. B. Transportation of passengers. For example, Redbus is purchasing buses for transportation of passengers, then Redbus is eligible for ITC. Next one, imparting training on driving, flying, navigating such vehicles or conveyances. For example, if Maruti Driving School purchasing vehicle for training of the drivers, then Maruti Driving School can claim ITC on that vehicle. Next one, transportation of goods. If any vehicle is used for transport of goods from one place to another place, then that vehicle is eligible for ITC. Second one, membership of club, health, fitness center. Membership of club, health and fitness center is not comes under ITC. For example, if a company is taking membership of a gym for its employees, then this inward supply is not eligible for ITC. Third one, life insurance policy, health insurance policy. This life insurance policy and health insurance policy is not comes under ITC, but there are some exceptions. First one, where the government notifies the services which are made obligatory for an employer to provide its employees by the Indian government under any current law in force. Indian government has made that all employees health insurance is mandatory. So in this case, a company has took the health insurance of all the employees, then ITC is available. B. If the category is same for the inward supply and outward supply, or it is a part of mixed or composite supply. For instance, XYZ insurance company is providing reinsurance services to LIC, then in this case LIC reinsurance services is eligible for ITC. Next one, food, beverages, outdoor catering, cosmetics and beauty treatment, health services, plastic surgery, etc. These all are not comes under ITC. However, ITC will be available if the category of inward and outward supply is same or the component belongs to a mixed or composite supply under GST. In this case, ITC is available if the supplier is using this product or these services to further supply of those services. For example, when airline company is taking packed food for the passenger, then ITC is available as they are making further supply. When restaurant taking inward supply of beverages, then also ITC is available for those restaurant. Fifth one, travel benefits extended to employees on vacation. If travel benefit is extended to its employees on vacation, such as home travel concession, then inward supply of travel is not eligible for ITC. But if it is for business purpose, then ITC is available. 6.1. Work contract services when supplied for construction of immovable property, except where it is an input services for further supply of work contract services. For instance, manufacturing company taking services for construction of AC plant in the factory, it is eligible for ITC. Since it is considered as plant and machinery, so ITC is available for such contract services. Seventh one, composition scheme. ITC is not available since composite supplier is not entitled to collect any GST from recipient. So, dealer is not eligible to claim ITC. Eighth one, constructing an immovable property on own account. For instance, XYZ developers of building, it builds office for itself. In this case, XYZ Limited cannot claim ITC even the office is used for business purpose. Ninth one. Goods or services are both received by a non-resident taxable person except on goods imported by him. A non-resident person only claim ITC for goods imported by him but not goods and services received by him. 10th one. Goods or services are both used for personal consumption. Goods or services used for personal consumption is not comes under ITC, whereas goods or services used for business purpose is comes under GST, and ITC is available for such consumption. 11th one. Goods lost, stolen, destroyed, written off or disposed of by way of gift or free samples. For example, AB Limited purchased 20 rolls of cotton thread for manufacturing the cloth, but due to accident of truck, 10 rolls are destroyed and 10 rolls are stolen due to the accident. Here, 20 rolls of cotton thread are not eligible for ITC because 10 rolls are destroyed and 10 rolls are stolen. Those stolen and destroyed goods are not comes under GST and input tax credit. So, those for those goods no ITC is available. 12th one. Taxes paid against notice by Department of Fraud, detention of goods and confiscation of goods. In these cases, ITC is not available for such fraud, detented and confiscated goods. Next, output tax. Output tax is in relation to a taxable person, means the IGST chargeable under the Act on taxable supply of goods and services by him or his agent, and excludes tax payable by him on reverse charge basis. As I told earlier, reverse charge reverse charge reverse charge means GST will have to be paid directly by the recipient to the government instead of the supplier. So, in output tax, it is a tax payable on supply of goods, and it excludes reverse charge taxable persons. In simple, output tax is the tax received on sales of goods or services. Input tax is a GST on input is known as input tax, whereas GST on output is known as output tax. In conclusion, input tax is a tax paid on purchase of goods and services. Output tax is a tax received on sale of goods and services. Input tax credit is tax reduced from output tax payable on account of sales. This mechanism is helpful as it eliminates the burden of taxes on taxes, or as GST is a single tax levied across India, the chain does not get broken and every registered person is able to take the benefit from ITC, and there is easy flow of credit. Thank you.